Primitive Life, a novel by Louise Richardson. Chapter 9, Homeward, Part 1. Gray Mama had not felt so confined since the days she was tall one of the common chimps, and was pulled down every time she tried to stand. A contingent of 4 or 5 huge brutes kept her under an acacia tree. They would surround her, backs turned, when she had to attend to bodily functions. Twice a day, they would march her down to a stream which fed into one of the converging rivers, so all could take a drink. In the evening, there would be a changing of the guard, and a different 4 or 5 hulks, food in hand, would settle down around her, throwing scraps of fruit or raw meat to her, if they felt like it. More than for her own situation, Gray Mama worried for the plight of her son Drummer and his 2 friends dragged off into the fight with the foreign walking chimps. On the 4th day of her captivity, she and her guards were joined by a dozen or so battered troopers, but Drummer was not with them. There were missing arms and ears, and there were scratches and abscesses and bloody wounds. Gray Mama wondered if this bunch was all that was left of the 40 young chimps who had set out to confront Nasty and his band, and she wondered if her dear Drummer was lost in the struggle. The dozen were soon followed by a handful of elders, and Dole, the dull alpha male. Dole, to Gray Mama, looked to be saddened and old for his years, if no wiser. He seemed to be grooming one of the elders to the exclusion of the others. Gray Mama knew the elder, who she thought of as Elder, a veteran of the rice conflict of a generation before. Even back then, Elder had the scars of these youngsters, and then some. He was thought dead and then showed up with injuries that did not come out of combat. Gray Mama now realized Elder had been tortured in much the same way she had seen that stranger tortured by Creepy, the vice alpha, and his henchmen in that undisclosed location. Dull appeared wary of his position, and the thought occurred to Gray Mama that he was deferring to Elder a great deal. The younger walking chimps seemed to be gravitating to Elder as a leader. Gray Mama hoped Elder would bring the troops home if he became AM, but she knew he was too much of a good soldier to do that. The next morning, he would lead the walking wounded back into battle, and more would die. The Nassau police told Harvey Llewellyn not to leave town, so he went to a pub down by the harbor. Of course, the cruise ships and merchant vessels would be notified if he tried to skip the Commonwealth. If he could hang on, though, when the cops found no evidence to hold him, he would take what he could get from the ATM and buy a plane or boat ticket home or to somewhere. He couldn't return to Habsburg, Texas now, he thought, at least not to the school. He would be a free man, but his bridges with Syntex State were well burned. A cloud of suspicion would hang over him, and he would never be able to get anywhere in that institution. There was his bank account, swollen from the publisher's advance. If he could beat the rap, he would drop by his bank in Texas, convert his funds to traveler's checks, and hit the road again. Hell, if he was going to be a best-selling author, he had no doubt, and his ordeal and false detention by foreign police would just be fodder for another blockbuster tome headed for the top of the New York Times list. On the other hand, if they thought they had enough evidence on him, he would not be able to touch any of his assets. The only things he would be able to get his hands on would be his collection of first edition DC and Marvel comics locked in a safe deposit box in Habsburg, if he could get to them. They were probably worth all of $5,000 anyway. Harvey Llewellyn. Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time. This boat is sweet, though. If I figure right, Florida is northwest. Maybe another 50 nautical miles or 50 regular miles. I don't know this stuff. I think I have enough gas. Weather's holding up so far. I picked the right guy at that bar. He bragged about the big fish he caught, got drunk, and staggered to his boat, and I tailed him. His passport picture looks enough like me, especially when I get a few days' growth of beard on me. The boat is fast and stocked, no anchor though. Didn't want the bastard to pop up like Faye did, had to sink him. Dropped him in the open ocean, chained to his precious marlin. Sharks and barracudas gotta like that. Eat up, you fuckers. I think I've got the hang of the wheel now. Kind of drives like a car. Good vantage point. I can see the horizon from up here. A little queasy now. I'll get over it. I'm done with the sea once I hit land. Forget this shit. No more murders either, if I can help it. Gotta keep my nose clean. What's next? I don't have a clue. Maybe I can be this guy for a while anyway. Grow his Hemingway beard. The $96 in his wallet won't last long. He's got a big boat, must have money, and I can use his credit cards. I think I can fake his signature. Things will work out. I'll take care of the long term later. Short term, I get to Florida before the next squall. Shit, little boat's coming. I think I can outrun them. Don't want to act suspicious. Don't want to waste fuel. They look like Cubans, maybe. They just want to get to Florida, just like me. They don't want any trouble either. I'll just wave them on. What are they shouting? What's Spanish for hello? Right, hola, amigos. Could they be yelling in French? Doesn't sound like any Spanish I've ever heard. They want to board this tub. I don't know. Got this flare gun, that's all. They're on both sides now. Oh shit. They've got machetes and probably guns too. Okay, taking no chances. Gun this thing. Hard swing right. Slap the bow of one. Circle left. Duck. They're shooting now. Duck. Ram the fuckers. Duck. Got 'em. 2 for 2. Learn to swim, you bastards. Get the hell out of here, Harvey. Straight to Florida, I hope. Don't worry, they'll love you, Leah assured Otto, especially Sarah. Sarah skipped up the front walk. Are you Otto? Yes, I am, he said. Sarah opened and slammed the front door. Leah's here with Otto. The child had a way of injecting innuendo into the names of all her sister's boyfriends. My folks will love you too, Leah predicted. Leah's mom appeared at the screen door, followed by her dad. You must be Otto, Mom declared. Yes, ma'am. Dad pushed the screen open. Come in, he said, holding out his hand, which Otto shook firmly. Good grip, boy, said Dad. Dad, you don't have to talk to him like he's a German shepherd, said Leah as she and Otto entered the living room. Just admire a strong handshake, that's all, Dad tells them. Leah's dad followed the couple through the dimly lit living room into the open kitchen dining room, which was illuminated by a shaft or two of sunlight. Sarah had already run ahead of them, but her eyes were on Otto. She was developing a little crush. "Hope you like roast beef," said Leah's mom. "Roast beast!" exclaimed Sarah. "Sarah's a big fan of Dr. Seuss," said the mom, but giving Sarah the behave yourself look as she placed the beast dish on the table. "So you're the sheriff of Galveston County?" the dad asked Otto, sitting at the table's head. Otto sat, spreading his cloth napkin on his lap. "Acting sheriff for now." "He's so modest," said Leah, scooting her chair in. "Otto's been in charge for almost a year now." "Catch that guy yet?" asked Dad, passing the mashed potatoes Otto's way. "I'm afraid he flew the coop before we knew he was a suspect," Otto told him, accepting the potatoes. "Somebody will get him and extradite him to Texas." "Leah's got a new ring," said Sarah. "Let me see it." "What?" asked the mom. "I was going to get to that later," said Leah. "It's an engagement ring. Otto proposed and I said yes." "Oh!" exclaimed the mom, covering her face with her napkin and leaving the table. Leah rose and followed her into the hallway. "Mom, I thought you liked Otto." "I do." "We've known each other for several months now. We were thinking of next June for the wedding. I'm happy for you. Really, I am. I don't know why this hit me so hard. Guess I'm feeling old, having a married daughter." Leah took the mom's hands in her own. "Old? Not you, Mom." They drifted back into the dining room. Leah returned to her chair and place at the table. Her mom stood. "Sorry I got so emotional," she said. Then giving her husband a questioning glance, "Jim?" He nodded with a smile, and she continued, "Otto and Leah, not that you need it, but you have our blessing." "Sarah Jane," ordered Leah's dad, avoiding emotion, "pass the green beans to your future brother-in-law." "Oh, wow," said Sarah, passing Otto the green beans. End of Part 1 of Chapter 9, Homeward. Primitive Life, a novel by Louise Richardson.